Each and every individual are having their own phase of journey. They are having their own journey. With each journey there are new steps and there is new learning. These new learnings help us to move ahead on the road of success. Today on the similar terms we are having Professor Sundar Raj sir, who is going to speak us and tell us about what entrepreneurship is and how it will help the youngsters to proceed ahead in their life.
For me, entrepreneurship is all about creating value to the customers in an innovative way, taking risk, and failing for success.
Sir, next question would be like, ever you were inclined towards in like, were you having any idea? Were you having any startup ideas where you were ever inclined of?
Yeah, I mean, a long time back, I had to uh, quit my corporate job because I had to go back to my hometown because of my father's ill health, and that was a small town. Of course, now it is known as Jamshedpur of Karnataka. But during those days, there was nothing there. So when I shifted, when me and my wife decided to quit our cushy jobs in Bombay, in fact, I was supposed to have been the youngest general manager in Godrej with fastest growth rate in Godrej. But because of father's ill health, so we had to take a call to quit and then go back to our hometown. And then since there was nothing there, so we decided we would, start our own entrepreneurship. So yes, we did those days. Um, there's nothing called as angel investors or um, uh, venture capitalists. Even banks would not fund uh, unless you give securities and also. Those days we tried to bring in new service to the localites. Specifically, those days computers were becoming popular, so we started computer training institutes and software development setups. So we did invest. We did take loans from others and invested. So in today's term, you can say um, close to about half a crore of rupees was invested. And then we started. The company grew very fast, and that was about 5 years journey of starting entrepreneurship. But today, if I look back, uh, how I would have done. Right. Those days we had got a few customers asking us to develop software for them. That area is very popular for mining. So one of the leading companies, mining companies there, they had given us mining management software development, and we developed software and we gave it to them. But had we knew that we can only license them to use and keep the IP with us, today that would have been a totally different story. Or um, those days, valuation were based on profits, and today the valuation of a company, of a new startup or a tech startup, is not based on the revenues and profits, but based on the number of customers that you have, based on the network you have created. So the story would have been totally different had somebody been there, the ecosystem for startup being there, the concept of venture capitalists was there. The story would have been different. But of course, yeah, the kind of risk that you need to take to bring up, and the kind of experience that you will gain by starting your own. And you can today today there is a huge ecosystem is there. If your idea is good, somebody is there to invest. But those days, nobody was there to invest. If you have an idea, right? So that struggle is totally different compared to today's struggle. Even today, probably some of the financial institutions are there to fund even, for a tech startup without even a single customer, right? So that was the journey. So started, and Had somebody told me a portfolio of investment, and instead of putting the entire money into one single um, startup, break the portfolio into different investments. So even half that money that I put in that organization, if I put half of it into stakes in Infosys today, I would have been owning some 200 crores of rupees. So um, I started entrepreneurial venture myself and my wife, who were very new, very young, without much of a guidance. But today, if you look at it, there is a whole lot of system. Even the government is giving so much of SOPs for starting up new ventures. But those days, uh, they were actually missing. Especially those were missing if your venture is a tech-related venture, and where your product is a software product, and software product, it had no value in the eyes of banks. So that was an intangible asset. Today we talk about create intangible asset and more value for intangible asset, but banks would value tangible assets more than the intangible asset. But today we say that we are giving more value to the intangible assets. So those were the days that are gone. But what we learned, and my own journey of starting up and then exiting after 5 years, and then continuing my journey in corporate career, has given a lot of experience which I can you know uh, impart to the students.
Sir, as you said about the idea, so how do you, like, what is that one thing which you feel that yes, it is the right idea and we can invest on this? Like, what is that feeling? Like, what you feel about that? Ki you have to invest it. How you have like predicted that yes, this is the right idea and I have to invest on this? Since we are having so many ideas, so how did you get on to that process?
See, those days we had to look at what is possible for you to do,
Okay.
right? And I was the technology head for Godrej, and were implementing technology for the business benefit. And my wife was working for a company called NIIT, which is actually doing the training in computers.
Okay.
So what background that we went with? And second thing is that we had no options. It's not that we went back to startup. That was not there. Second is, it's not that we had other opportunities that we could explore than this. So this is what we knew. I knew how to use the technology for business benefit, and she knew the imparting of training. So what we did, we started. But we knew that that is what is the going potential is going to be. The IT, that you have seen that the early days of Infosys, the early days of it's all. But only one thing my learning was I told you, retaining an IP of software that you develop rather than giving the IP to someone else was one learning. Second learning, of course, instead of starting in a small place, had we started in Bangalore, so the location also becomes very important. But for us, we had no choice but to start there, so we started. But the learning, acquiring customer, selling your new idea, okay, and convincing, influencing customers, and yeah, that was great.
So during
Experience.
this whole journey of yours, what you feel was your biggest obstacle, which you have like you could have coped up with, but you missed on that chance at that
It was not
particular time.
obstacle. I feel ki a customer acquisition was very easy. Um, but the technology space. If you are in technology space, the biggest obstacle is the technology changes.
Yeah.
When we started, maybe our technology was very popular. Then every 2 3 years the technology changes. How quickly you change. It's not like a mathematics professor teaching mathematics. When you are in technology space, refreshing your technology and then learning new and replacing old with new. That is the challenge, and for that you need lot of you know inputs of resources, and you need to expand your customer horizon. So you need to be global. So when you start a tech startup, your thinking should be global. You have to keep on increasing your customer base, because you need to keep investing on newer technology, and newer technology continuously need newer in investments. To do that, you need a community of investors plus expanding the customer horizon. So you need to be thinking global.
Sir, so what is the role of a team here? Probably if you were a group of few members, so would it be possible at that particular time? Like, what is your take on a team in this whole process, in this whole journey?
A team in the sense, what?
So,
The
like group of people who are working
founders,
together.
founders.
Yeah,
Yeah. So my experience is that a single owner driven organizations would struggle quite a lot. But too many founders also, there is very little success stories with too many, except Infosys with 7 founders. Infosys is an exception. But if you look at my experience, somebody should be very strong in finance, somebody should be very strong. Finance means not doing accounting. Finance means organizing funds that are required for your growth. Initial years as a startup, you need a lot of financial resources. So financial resources. So somebody who is very good in raising finances, somebody is strong in delivery. Okay, and somebody is very strong in customer acquisition. So if you have a startup with founders with these 3 skill sets, more than 3 in my view is a crowd. Okay, less than 2 is too little for somebody to manage in entirety. So ideally you should have 3 founders is what I feel the team should be, and team skill set should be complementing, but the skill should be complementary, but the dream for 3 of them should be the same. One cannot say that okay, I will exit in 3 years, and one cannot say that I would like to be there for lifetime. So all of them, and somebody cannot say I will be there part time, and somebody cannot say okay, I will work somewhere else and then put in part of. So the conflicting vision will not help. So the founder's vision should be common, but complementing skill set.
Sir, in these following years, how you feel that the entrepreneurship grounds have changed? Like, what are the major changes which you can see from the time when you started and the time which youngsters are now starting off and thinking to start off?
Fundamentally, during my days, failure is a taboo, and we never failed. In our life, normally we never failed. Like you are 90% plus, and you are the topper, and then you get good jobs, and you got good promotions. Till then, is all fine, right? But moment you are an entrepreneur, you can be topper of a top university, but entrepreneur and venture cannot guarantee you the success. Just because you are a topper in a university, it cannot guarantee your success. For example, a topper may be good in almost all of the subjects that he studies, but an entrepreneur is maybe bad in all of them, but he is good in that one focused area. He is 100 out of 100, right? So a topper in the university or a good performer in the industry who comes out and then start a venture, there is no guarantee for success. But learning from failures and quickly taking the customer feedback and pivoting. Initially, we started as a training institute. Then we felt that okay, only training will not help. Then we added software development. Then we said that okay, only software part will not help. So we got into sales and services of IT equipment. Then we got into so what we started as a training institute, which grew as a total solutions in computers. But we broadened our horizons so much that focused effort for each one came down. So somewhere balancing becomes very, very important. So over the period, the new generation knows they are brave. Um, for us, starting a venture was forced upon for us. Did we think about starting a venture? No, we were in a cushy job. We didn't then think of exiting the job to start a venture. But we started because we had no option but to start because there were no options. But today it's not like that. Today's generation, they have an option to start a startup. Those days, if you fail in your startup, your career will be the end because you failed in your venture, and the tag of failure has already come to you, and getting an option of getting a job those days was not there. Only when you succeed you can go. But today it's not like that. You start a venture, 2 years of venture, your venture experience, entrepreneurial venture experience itself is a plus point for you to get good jobs in corporates. So today corporates are looking at whether a student has an entrepreneurial experience, and if so, then you pick up, because most large organizations, they are looking at not employees, but they are looking at entrepreneurs. So there's a sea change. I can say, it's now 30 years.
Yeah.
My venture started in '93, so 2023 is going to be almost a 30 years. In 30 years, a lot has changed. Too many people are there. If your idea is good, the people are ready to invest. People are ready to take a risk. Those days, if they fund you, it is not a funding for equity, but they are funding as a debt. So it is a debt on you. Even if somebody is giving you money, they are ready to give money, but they are giving it as a debt. But today people are taking the stake. So a lot of changes have happened.
Sir, if suppose a chance is given to you to start up again your venture which you have started off back then 30 years back, so would you continue with that, or you will continue with your teaching arenas, and you
See, today, since there are so much of opportunities are there for success and also the investment, if I get an opportunity to start, I would rather start, because I have now completed my innings of corporate career,
yeah.
which is now I can take much bigger risk, because there is nothing at stake as far as I am concerned today, because in 1993 I was 33 years old. The whole career was ahead of me, but today I am retired, so there is nothing that at stake for me. So today I am in a much better position to take much bigger risk.
And so what is that one thing which always keeps you motivated, like which drives you towards to move more ahead towards success? That what is that one thing which always keeps you motivated?
One is curiosity and inquisitiveness and restlessness, uh, to do the same thing again and again. You can't be doing again and again. You need to do something different. So I become restless very fast of doing the same thing. So within 2 3 years, I need to look out for something doing new. That's how I. If you start me, if you ask me, was I a computer science engineer? No, I was a mechanical engineer. And where did I start my career? As a mechanical maintenance engineer in a steel plant. Now, where did I end up? I ended up becoming a CIO of a large financial services company in Calcutta. Right? So, Chief Information Officer means heading somebody managing the technology without a formal training in computers could head for a financial service, because I didn't start my career in financial sector. I started in a manufacturing sector. So you will undergo, you will evolve, and that's what is required for you. And in any setup, learning becomes saturated over a period of time. If you want to learn more, you need to look for different space and different area to work with. And entrepreneurial ventures gives you a lot to explore and a lot to learn.
So last I would ask you, what advice would you like to give our students who are taking risk and just moving ahead on this entrepreneur way?
In fact, these days I'm learning more from the students, because who taught me? I mean, nobody taught me then taking risk. I mean, today students are taking risk. They don't just worry about career. Today, how many people are quitting their jobs at the? I mean, that was unheard of during my days. That if you got a good, cushy campus recruitment and you quit it and start your own, that was unheard of. So today, you would learn much more. And if I am with the students, probably I would become more creative and innovative with the young students than if I work on my own. So probably more than uh, giving advice, co-creating with the students is much more, learning experience.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. It was an honor to have you here with us, and speaking on it, we got to know so much and there was so much new learning. Probably this would help the new people who are just walking their ways on this entrepreneur journey. So I would like to thank you for spending so much time with us, and looking forward to hear more inspirational talks from you.
Thank you
sir.
very much. Thanks for having me here. sharing my entrepreneurial experience which I had almost 30 years back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.